Welcome to this series on Truth Eternal. We continue with last Sunday's program. Before that, let's offer our humble prayers. Let's begin. This chapter is on the means to an end. The means are satsang and practice. Lalaji chose to describe the importance of Guru and who this Guru could be, who could be the real Guru, Sadguru. And we had gone through those five basic criterias. Now let's go further. The real inner qualification is that he should be able to satisfy his disciples by imparting the divine grace through the awakened inner vision. He's conveying all this depth of knowledge that he has attained in simple way through some couplets. He narrates, control the mind in the third plane. What does he mean by saying third plane, and what is the third plane anyway? We come to that in a moment. Control the mind in the third plane. Supreme knowledge springs from this yoga. When this condition is in the head, thousand petal lotus will open. So there are many things, many secrets he is revealing here. That this supreme knowledge springs from this yoga, meaning the union of the mind, or the mind that is immersed in the third plane. Now, the third plane here, Lalaji talks about, is the dimension of Brahmand, mind region, which Babuji has written in detail. Moment we enter the mind region, the supreme knowledge starts descending. He also puts in a different way, as the superconsciousness of the heart opens up, you also start receiving this divine knowledge. When this condition is in the head, thousand petal lotus will open. That means he's talking here about the Sahasradal Kamal. Though in our system, Babuji has modified a bit and we bypass this thousand petal lotus Sahasradal Kamal for a reason. We bypass after the 10th point and go straight to the 11th point. Between 10th and 11th lies this Sahasradal Kamal. It is very intoxicating. And it's very difficult to get out of this whirlpool of bliss, if you might call it. And it's very difficult to get anyone out of this Param Anand kind of a state. You are kind of savoring that state like a honeybee that is trapped in a honeybee jar. You see, and eventually this honeybee will die in that honey pot. Similar thing happens to a person who is traveling into this Sahasradal Kamal, gets trapped, enters into bliss, but it is very destructive. You no longer want to get out of it. You are lost in that so-called narcotic effect. That's why Babuji had once replied to someone asking a question, Babuji, would you tell me about what is this Satchit Anand state? Babuji said it is like a worm relishing a cow dung. So we are not here to spend our time or in such activities just being immersed in bliss. He said there is much more beyond bliss where we have to go. So we should not waste time, even a second. So he bypasses us, takes us away, and makes a curved movement from 10th to the 11th point. Okay, just as we move away the from fourth straight to the seventh chakra, because fifth and sixth are not touched for reasons that you already know. Anyway, we go on further. The second stanza. This multiplicity is the dwelling place of Virat. The Brahmand, agoing, was seen thus. Attention was caught in the bower of our Lord. Light was seen and divine sound heard. Sound of the bell and conch pleasant, talks sweet, and the sign of light. These are all the signs which Lalaji mentions, that how one enjoys everything, the sound, the light, the touch, this multifold universe that we are witnessing. Everything becomes a mirror of God. Everywhere you see God. Multiplicity also starts to depict the greatness of God, starts reflecting the greatness of God. So this is the true state. One enjoys and realizes the greatness of God. See, enjoying and appreciating greatness of God is not like simply being in the bliss. Bliss is almost blind, where you are immersed. There is nothing else left. But as you enjoy, and at the same time you are appreciating the greatness of God, you just begin to see everything, sound, light, touch, everything that is manifested in this various world, this multiplicity. We witness God. But if a person starts talking, for example, oh, I witness God in this tree, or in this river, or in this mountain, or in the sun, or in the sky, before arriving at this state, then it becomes a lie. Many people, they worship this and that, so many things, without actually perceiving godliness in a tree, or in a mountain, or in a river. They do this out of belief system, out of rituals. The disadvantage, you remain happy with this mere worship, that I have done my part, I have fulfilled my beliefs, I have fulfilled my trust, I have a faith. Faith in what? Faith in belief, faith in rituals. And that keeps us going, unfortunately. It's a substitute for the real thing. You will never get the real thing though. But having real thing, having experienced the reality, when one starts experiencing this in multitude, in multiple planes, that's a real experience, that's a truth, that's an authentic experience where one witnesses godly presence. Here you don't need to have a faith, you don't need to have belief. Belief and faith are a great substitute for the reality. I believe in God. Who speaks all these things? Actually, the non believer. The believer doesn't have to speak, he doesn't have to declare that I believe in God. Sound was heard and light divine was seen. Attention was arrested. Descended bliss divine. Mind is engrossed in love supreme, thrilling delight in holy name. So again, this is the expression of the state when you start experiencing. Lalaji says, it is so wonderful. Sound was heard and the light divine was seen. Attention was arrested. All your attention was arrested because it has become single track now, beloved. Go to the next para. Dwelt in Sahasra lotus for some days. A desire arose for the second stage. Here, second, we have to understand it as the next stage. Ascended the curved way, ran to Trikuti, and saw the light of Om. So, this is a journey back and forth, back and forth. Here, it is interesting to see how Lalaji uses this word saw the light of Om. Generally, we talk of sound of Om. Here he mentions light of Om. I don't think any great sage has ever spoken like this, light of Om. So it's again a matter of experience. And Babuji Maharaj keeps talking about this light when one touches the Trikuti or seventh or eighth point as well. And there's so much of energy. The sacred Om and grace of Master. Ripples of the mind. These two will conquer. This is the golden place of Master. A jubilee of words of satsang inner. This is, in a way, Lalaji hints here, the aspect of constant remembrance. He says, a jubilee of words of satsang inner. Inner satsang, inner association with the Master. So when that happens, the association, our constant touch with Master, when this happens, the state arrives when one remains in satsang with the inner Master. What is the outcome of it? The outcome is this simple ripple, rather, the ripples of the mind, these two will conquer. Means you win over the mind. Now you have become the master of ripples of mind. So, mastering the ripples of mind means also constant remembrance. Arresting the ripples of mind or stealing the ripples of mind is an outcome of being in constant remembrance. Constant remembrance, again, as I say, it's a mental phenomena to start with, hoping that one day it will become heartfelt association with Master, with true feelings. So you can say one is graduating from constantly remembering the Master into constantly feeling the presence of the Master. This too will change eventually, and we arrive at constantly becoming Him. Many of us have experienced this as we are absorbed in the Master. Somehow, this osmosis between us intensifies so much that when you touch your beard, you feel as if you are touching Babuji's beard. When you are walking, you feel as if he himself is walking. Many a times you feel, oh, suddenly you realize, oh, I'm not Babuji. but for a few moments at least, it remains so much intensely glued to our personality that this osmosis becomes almost creating sort of oneness. That's the magic of constant remembrance. It should slowly evolve into constant feeling, to constantly being with such a personality. Start having association at a mental level with the heart, and one day we start becoming like him. Of course, this doesn't end there also. It changes to a state of non being, the way he is in a state of non being. Red sun and the flag of red color, sound of Om and tabor to hear. Fix the glance at one spot. Hear the sound with attention rapt. Keep the body in a steady position. Then alone comes the further vision. Here again, Lalaji Maharaj is hinting at something very profound. He says, when you do sit for meditation, make your position very steady. Don't keep on moving. So adopt a posture that will not disturb us during meditation. Then, having moved away from this physical mastering of sitting in a particular posture that can remain steady, he says, now still your mind. Make sure there are no ripples in your mind. Have a rapt attention towards the presence of divine light in our heart. Don't let it oscillate. One who perfects meditation at Trikuti is called a saint, a master of the body. This is the inner practice. Here begins the path of the master. Okay. Fortunately, which has marked where Babuji has, under the instruction of Lalaji Maharaj, made some changes. Changes are such that today none of us are asked to meditate on Trikuti. We all meditate on the heart. So I would request you to kindly ignore this particular passage. Babuji Maharaj has renovated, overhauled the entire system which used to be during Lalaji's lifetime and offered us very simple process, modified to make it comfortable for today's man. Anyway, we'll take a rest of the chapter next time. So see you again. Thank you. Namaskar.